This is Kyle Miller from iMerit, and we're here live at Geoweek 2022 at the Colorado Convention Center. And we're going to be going around seeing how machine learning and artificial intelligence is disrupting the geospatial technology industry and learn a little bit about some of the latest sensors and data collection methods that we're seeing in the industry and just see what we can learn. Let's go. So how do you foresee machine learning transforming the future of aerial data collection?
Yeah, so I look around me even at the show and I see amazing pieces of hardware that can now collect terabytes of data in a matter of hours. And so machine learning is really going to help us unlock the potential in those data sets. So we've created software that automates the vectorization of features in aerial imagery for our clients. So we're really taking hours and days away of kind of mundane drafting work by automating it. So machine learning helps us get there a lot faster.
So how important is high quality imagery for use cases like infrastructure inspection, vegetation management, or even wildfire prevention?
Yeah, I think it's extremely important, especially since wildfire mitigation is becoming such a huge issue in California, in Northern California and Southern California. So having highly accurate data will really help these utility companies guide on which areas could be at most risk for wildfires. And also having those accurate measurements really helps inform their inspection crew on which areas or which trees they need to trim down more, what tree species there are, so what tree species grow the fastest or which ones grow the slowest. That could really help inform what areas are most at risk for wildfire.
So how important is data quality for next generation mapping?
Well, nowadays when we're speaking about metaverse and we're speaking how images will really impact and are changing and will change the future, I think having high quality resolution products as the one we're having here will help us to get more into that immersive feeling and have a more real and accurate, especially feeling and emotion when we're like exploring these places.
So how do you see LiDAR sensors changing the states of the mapping industry moving forward?
Okay, so right now, we've had Velodyne and Ouster and Quantum and everything. What's really going to start happening is it's going to start opening up the surveying market. Because right now, most of the surveyors, actually they're my age. I'm like the average age of a surveyor, like 60. Okay, I'm not quite 60, but 59. But it's going to really start pushing ahead because right now we still do boots on the ground surveying. And so LiDAR units really get us. We can't really get to the ground per se, through vegetation, but we get close, okay? And surveyors are going to start embracing that for doing topo work, because right now they'll send a man crew out there, 2 or 3 men, and they'll be out there for several days. We can do the job in 15 minutes. So it's going to really change that. We've been there for like 3 or 4 years, but we're on the early part of the bell-shaped curve, and now they're starting to finally embrace it. It takes a while. Surveyors move slow. Okay, but that's the big market for us. Of course, there's the autonomous vehicles and everything, but the surveyors actually feed that. And it's not really so much surveyors a lot of times for that as it is map makers, but surveyors are map makers, okay? But they've kind of regulated themselves into doing boundary surveys most of the time. So the ones who think a little bit bigger, kind of like the Lewis and Clark types, that are about mapping, they're looking at it as we're going to go map, okay? And we're going to map, and then who's going to benefit from that? FedEx is going to benefit from it. Uber Eats is going to benefit from it because they're going to send robots out into the streets to deliver pizzas or whatever. And so is that part of surveying? Yes. And that's where it's going to really start hitting the fan, okay? Because we had to wait for that technology to come along and get mature enough. We can map it, but nobody was ingesting and using it. So now those guys are really going to put the impetus on surveyors or people who aren't necessarily surveyors but are doing surveying to generate that data, to get those markets going, and everybody's waiting for it, okay? So that's where I see it's going right now.
So could you tell me a little bit about this robotics and sensor setup you have here?
Yeah, absolutely. So Boston Dynamics and Trimble formed a strategic alliance about a year ago, and we're co-developing how we're bringing the expertise from our 2 areas into one integrated solution. So we have the expertise from Boston Dynamics with their Spot platform, with the expertise that Trimble brings around positioning technology, and we're working together to bring those into one robotic solution to bring out to construction sites for progress monitoring, construction data collection, just different ways of monitoring what's happening on the job site.
Excellent, excellent. And do you see the combination of sensors and increased mobility for collecting data as having a significant effect on the future of construction?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like we wanted to get into robotics because we felt that it's the right time for this type of technology to start to be coming into the construction site. And what it's starting to do is open up people's ability to really get consistent data over time and run analysis off of that data to really see how our project's tracking, where are safety issues happening on the job site. So it's a whole new area of just technology and understanding of what's happening that was starting to be introduced. So it's definitely kind of on the cutting edge right now, but it's opening up new areas for people to explore.
So how important is geolocation accuracy for digital maps?
So we really take that seriously in our business. That is a focus that Sanborn puts on all the maps that we provide, especially as we see geospatial expanding into more commercial offerings. That is something I think that a lot of people lose track of, and understanding that is an important aspect of what it is that we do as a business and as an industry. So Sanborn as a whole, that is one of our primary focuses, is trying to provide authentic, accurate data sets that customers can use and trust, and it meets the level of quality that they need. So there's a lot that goes into that, right? From data processing all the way to accuracy assessments and checkpoints to show that the data is meeting that level of quality.
So how important is imagery data quality for engineers that are building computer vision applications nowadays?
That's a great question, and that's really the fundamental aspect of what the Vexel is. From our camera systems like the UltraCam here, all the way through to our data program, all of that's been engineered or developed to support those types of applications. Data quality, whether it's the fact that we're collecting it in lossless format, all the way through delivery to the end customer, and also the consistency across all 24 of the countries we cover, gives you the ability to take those models and apply it to any location geography you're looking for.
So how important is data quality in the aerial imagery market right now?
I think it's massive, right? I think today in the industry, pretty pictures are cool, right? But it's data driven. It's what are you answering with that imagery and that data, right? So, I think that's one of the most important things in capturing imagery is also being able to extract accurate data from that.
How do you see machine learning transforming the future of the drone industry?
I just think it's going to be, unlock the potential to take actionable decisions a lot quicker, right? Like right now it's a lot of manual processes, and when you've got assets spread all over the country and hundreds of them, you need those answers a lot quicker. Instead of having a subject matter expert peer over a computer for hours, you send it to a script and those answers come back automated, right? So it's really going to enhance the data delivery, actionable time to where you can go out and correct these anomalies or issues that are going on in the sites a lot quicker.
Excellent.
And you'll be able to take a facility inspection, for example. You fly a drone over it, you get your pavement automatically within an hour. Hey, here's the spots we need to fix for the roof. Oh, here's the areas of concern. You don't need a human to go through that and spend days. So you can be able to just make actionable decisions a lot faster.
So how do you foresee LiDAR sensors transforming the geospatial technology sector in the coming years?
So the thing I love about LiDAR is we've got this active collecting, or this active sensor that can collect hundreds of thousands of measurements a second, and by incorporating it into lighter, cheaper, more affordable, more accessible platforms, it's something that an average user can go and collect extremely high quality data with. So it's no longer a paywall, if you will, for accessing, managing, and creating really high quality, high accuracy products. So a grad student, for example, can go out, spend a couple $1,000s on a drone, put an OK payload on it, just using open source software, open source hardware, and collect data on whatever they need, and incorporate that into any collaborations with any other department, spreading awareness of this technology, and really just making it something that more people can use in really limitless applications. And LiDAR's one of those systems, one of those technologies that's going to make all the difference in the world for that. We've had structured motion, we've had this RGB capability, but that's passive. Now we've got very, very, very high quality, very accurate, active scanners that can do all this. It's amazing.
What are some of your key takeaways from Geoweek 2022?
I would say that I'm seeing a lot of folks from LiDAR and remote sensing industry right now that are really trying to find a way to integrate all the different tools and platforms and services that they're using and trying to really make it a single, tool or a single streamlined workflow to really optimize, because everyone here is really trying to scale their LiDAR operations right now. They're trying to go from doing a single scan of a single building to be able to cover all their assets and large areas, and so they really need to find that optimized process from start to finish, and that includes annotating that LiDAR data, classifying it, making it usable, making it meaningful. And so there's a lot of, I think, space right now for people who can come in and who can provide a platform or a service that can really integrate all of that, despite all the different sensors and manufacturers having their own sort of data formats and things like that. So I think it's a pivotal time where it's, there needs to be someone to really come in and take over that space. And I've also noticed that I think the utilities and energy industry has really been leading the way on integrating AI into geospatial. They're really kind of the forerunners. They're the ones who are really investing in getting that automation, getting that AI, and I think that's kind of leading the way for other related industries, other sectors in geospatial, because they're seeing it work out with the utilities industries.
I've gone around now and spoken to, I want to say tens, maybe even hundreds of people here at Geoweek 2022. And my takeaway is that, listen, data quality, whether we're talking about the artificial intelligence industry or the machine learning industry, or if we're talking about geospatial technology, mapping, surveying, construction, data quality is of paramount importance to all of these different iterations of geospatial technology and machine learning. Whether we're talking about the actual imagery data being collected from sensors like LiDAR, which we're seeing everywhere now for the collection of 3D point cloud data, or if we're talking about conventional RGB imagery from satellites or drones or whatever it might be. Data quality is extremely, extremely important. And that's something that I'm finding is true across the board. I'm hearing it again and again and again. All right, from Geoweek 2022 at the Colorado Convention Center, this is Kyle Miller from iMerit, signing off.